There is unity in the oppression. There must be absolute unity and determination in the response.
I don't like to talk about these things, but we also have to be realistic. They're not just going to arrest him and stick him in jail. They're going to interrogate, I nearly swore very badly there, they're going to interrogate the stuffing out of him. And they're going to delight in doing so because they are sadistic, these people in these positions of power that abuse them and that violate human rights. They're extremely sadistic. And they will relish the opportunity to hurt Julian in every way possible. Hurt him physically, hurt him psychologically, and they will have spent years plotting methods of getting away with it. I tweeted today about a scene in The Matrix where Morpheus is taken by Agent Smith. And to me, I feel like that's the moment that we're at. We're at the moment where these people are rubbing their hands with glee, thinking they're going to get their hands on Morpheus and they're going to be able to torture him into, giving up the codes or whatever. First of all, Julian is smart enough to not have any codes by the time he gets taken into custody. That'll be the first thing. He has also, and WikiLeaks have also been preparing for this eventuality for years, so there will be all kinds of contingency plans in place. And I also said to Christine today, actually, that there has been multiple moments in time in the course of what's happened with WikiLeaks over the last 8 years, where Julian's situation has seemed so dire. And like we're at this precipice. And I've thought to myself, how is he going to get out of this? How, and the situation looked so bleak and so bad. And every single time WikiLeaks and Julian has pulled a rabbit out of a hat. And things have turned. Just when things get to their most hot moment, their most seemingly disastrous moment, it's like there's a break and some sunshine is let in and things become okay for a while. Now, that doesn't mean that Julian can carry that on forever. No person is superhuman and no person can. But there's still hope. And I think that those who have been plotting their evil deeds that they would like to do to Julian are going to be thwarted, if not by Julian and WikiLeaks, then by millions of people rising up, or by karma itself. Because that's something else that I saw as a targeted journalist and activist in New Zealand, is that whenever these state agents had this grand scheme or this grand plan of how they were going to manipulate things to turn out to be, there was always some serendipitous spanner or wrench in the works that came in at the last minute and totally blew their plans to smithereens. So I have not given it. I can see Ray smiling his face off here. It's really true. I could sit here and give many stories, but I'll save that for another day.
I was smiling because Kieran and I call that the Holy Spirit.
Ah, and see, because to me it has almost seemed like divine intervention. It's like at that bleakest moment, when the bad guys are rubbing their hands like, yes, everything's going just to plan. All of a sudden it all goes to shit for them. And to me, I call it karma, you call it the Holy Spirit, but it does very much seem to be that way. That just when they're counting their chickens, none of them hatch. And I think other people call it blowback. But what I'm just trying to say here is that don't underestimate the evil intentions of these people and the extrajudicial punishments that they will fully intend to apply to Julian with total disregard for any law, national or international, or humanitarian. But at the same time, understand that we are in the right. Julian is in the right. And when you are in the right, when you are on the just path, on the moral path, on the ethical path, somehow the universe seems to lend a hand in whatever form.
That to be true, 100%, and I can tell you from my own experience that is the truth. There is some kind of higher power, and I believe in it, be it karma, be it the Holy Spirit or the light in all of us. There is something that is looking out for us and looking out for good. And this is a fight of good against evil, as I said. and good will prevail. I'm sure of that. And anything that they will try and do to Julian now will be known, will be noticed, will be spoken about, and it is just going to make the force of good stronger. I am of the personal opinion, if the UK government will get their hands on Julian, they will not mistreat him. I think they are too scared to do that. I think they will try and make sure that he gets immediate medical attention for all the issues that have been reported. I think that they are going to make sure that he has his own cell and his own space, that he has contact with his lawyers, that he will not be interrogated or interviewed with any of his lawyers present. And that is the only way this is going to go down, because if not, you will see people lining the streets, and you will see Theresa May or whoever will be in power at the time being replaced by Jeremy Corbyn, who's ultimately going to free Julian Assange from this injustice. If it requires a change in leadership in the UK to let good win against evil, well, then that is what's going to happen. That is what we will all work for in unity for Jay, to make sure that we have leadership that is not scared of the bully of the US empire, and that is going to do the right thing, the just thing. And there are still people in politics that want to do the right thing. I believe that, and I know that from personal experience.
I wanted to jump in, and I'm sorry for interrupting you at the end there, Kim, and say that one of the things you can do, no matter what your views are spiritually, whether you're religious or not, it can't hurt to, if you have prayer circles in your area, if you know of any prayer circles at all, it cannot hurt to submit, Julian's name to those, and if you want to, but that also is not a official endorsement of any religious belief, and it's also not to say that would ever replace action and activism. But I think that for those of us who do have spiritual beliefs, I think that can help in some way. So I just wanted to add that thought. That's all.
I just wanted to leave with a quote from one of my favorite authors, David Mitchell. I don't know if you've read Cloud Atlas, but I find it pretty inspirational for our times. It was when Ewing, he said, "Our lives are not our own. We are bound to others, past and present, and by each crime and every kindness we birth our future." I found that, actually, the first time I read that, I was in Afghanistan. And I found it in a little book box, and that quote was underlined in red ink. It got me thinking about what we're here on this earth to be doing, because I feel like as an 18-year-old, you don't really consider, what the implications are on the grander scale of things. When we go and do those things, we're convinced easily by nationalism and thinking this is like the most important thing we could be doing by protecting our country. But at the end of the day, we all need to understand that what we're doing impacts every little thing that we do impacts the world around us. And I've been trying to meditate on that for quite some time. With my job, you have somebody who just loads crypto, they're just loading crypto, and but they're enabling an entire system to operate by doing that, by that one small act. And I mean, our life is composed of these small acts, and it's an honor to be in the presence of people like you who are willing to just do something that's not easy for the good of everybody. And yeah, I just wanted to I wanted to thank all of you for doing this and being, you know, a part of trying to keep truth out there.
You are one of those people who you just described, Sean.
Kim, what any sort of like last words at the end of this vigil here?
Well, I would like to thank both Susie and you, Elizabeth, for putting all of this together. You know, this wouldn't exist if it wasn't for you and your countless hours that you put into this. And I personally appreciate it very much, and I know Julian appreciates it also. So thank you for putting this together. I will just end on a very simple quote by Buddha. Buddha says, 3 things cannot remain hidden for long: the sun, the moon, and the truth. And that is the truth. So what Julian is doing is opening our eyes to the truth, and that cannot be a crime.